Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. So I'm a little worried my video is going to be super long because of my bracket, so I'm going to jump right into that. But don't worry, I will be taking a break later to do some video responses. So for the month of March, I made a bracket about all of the things I hate. More specifically, the things I hate somewhat irrationally, because I'm afraid otherwise it would come down to like genocide versus world hunger, and that bracket would just be a real downer. Additionally, I think I'm on record with at least one of you as saying that I get more angry at inanimate objects than I ever could at a real person. So you know my hatred of this stuff runs deep. Anyway, here we go.
In our first matchup, we have static electricity versus pennies. As useless as pennies are, static is just too awful. Static advances. Next up, we have Windows updates versus the sound of styrofoam. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the sound styrofoam makes, so styrofoam wins. Moving on, we have clear tacks versus shoelaces. If any of you are sitting there wondering, what's wrong with clear tacks? Pray to God you never have to find that out. The tacks win this one easily. Our next pair is splinters versus speed bumps. This is a close call, but I think I'm going to err on the side of pain and go with splinters. And sticking with the alliteration theme, we have semicolons versus stubbed toes. Semicolons do drive me crazy, those smug-looking bastards. However, I basically stub my toe on the daily, so stubbed toes it is. The next matchup involves two absolute powerhouses of my hatred with sandpaper versus glitter. Sorry, glitter, I wanted to see you go far in this bracket, but sandpaper just sucks so bad. Next up is rug burn versus tape on cardboard boxes. You know, even though it's been a while since the two of us have crossed paths, I have not forgotten what you've done to me, Rugburn, and for that, you advance. And now we have the sound of a metal spoon scraping on a metal pot versus tangles of any kind. If I were to make a list of things I never want to do again, untangling shit would be very near the top of that list. Tangles move on.
That was an intense first session. Now it's time for me to catch my breath with some video responses. I cannot believe you're gonna have a nephew. Hold on, just let me tell everybody on Facebook about this. Oh, you didn't want us to post anything to Facebook? I guess I can refrain from posting a status about this for now. You didn't have a video up at the time of me recording this? Which day is actually your video day now? I did, however, watch your music video, and once again, you crushed it. I thought the song had a kind of Reliant K feel to it, which, as you know, is high praise. Yes, there is a reason there's a giant lobster on the map behind me. And that reason is that I would like to be geographically accurate, so of course I'm not just gonna ignore the continent-sized lobster that's currently lurking in the Indian Ocean. Also, have you not been measuring everything in lobster lengths already? Lobsters are the new metric. Get with the times. And now to finish off the second half of this bracket.
Kicking off this section, we have paper cuts versus slanted roofs. I think all you guys remember why I'm against slanted roofs, but I think the sadness caused by my broken phone is outweighed by the rage that fills my heart after being paper cut. So paper cuts move on. Next up is non-mechanical pencils versus loading screens. You may think this is an easy matchup for loading screens, but you'd be wrong. In this day and age, I can't figure out why anyone still writes with something that has to be sharpened. It's 2015, people. Come on. Pencils win. Moving on, we have lint versus gin. While I do hate gin, I've come up with a plan to avoid it for the rest of my life, which is not drinking it. Unfortunately, that plan is not nearly as effective against lint, and therefore lint will move on. The next match is between itches and wind. Wind is going to be tough to beat because it makes everything worse. For instance, if you have a really annoying itch, that sucks. But if it's also windy, that sucks a million times more. Wind advances. Now we have crumbs versus belts. It's hard to pick against belts since all they're good for is doing the devil's work of holding up pants. But then I imagine what a world without crumbs would be like. And it would be glorious. Crumbs move on. Up next is internet comment sections versus fryer oil. I've been sucked into terrible internet comment threads countless times. However, my vendetta against fryer oil is a personal one. The oil advances. Now we have cobwebs versus cords. If you've ever taken an unexpected cobweb to the face, you understand where my hatred for them comes from. But the fact that the entire world isn't cordless yet angers me on a daily basis, so cords will advance. And in our final matchup, we have the number 5 versus commercials. I deal with both of these annoyances on a daily basis, so I'm well equipped to tell you which one of them is worse, and it's definitely the number 5.
Okay, so I know that whole hatred of the number 5 thing might make it seem like I've lost my mind, but I promise I am not one of the crazies.